Your father sent me.
So I can tell you how to get to our fortress. A task for the lowest lackey, wouldn't you say? Well, you don't need to answer that.
Right, yeah. That's exactly why he sent me. But how...
What are you staring at? Do you think I was born yesterday? I was listening to you from the top of the stairs. So, this passage, it leads to the cellars, but the outside entrance is hidden underground in a forest, not far from the castle. You can find the exact place if you know where and how to look.
Is it in a cave hidden behind a waterfall?
Well, no. But it would be nice. Listen, nearby Malashov is a stud farm managed by Hashtal, an old friend of Papa's. We had a wayside shrine set up at the crossroads before the stud farm.
A wayside shrine? How do you mean?
Are you a Christian at all? Never mind. It's a big white column. You can't miss it. From the shrine, you should be able to see a group of boulders. Beyond them are the remains of an old chapel. You have to find it, and then there's a kind of... how can I describe it? A window. A gap you can look through.
If it's still standing.
I hope so too. Anyway, it should direct you towards some ruins. Go there. And now pay attention. Somewhere in those ruins is a stone cross. You have to find it and look where its top points to. If you go the way the cross is pointing, you'll find another one, and again follow the direction it's pointing in. That should lead you to a small clearing, marked by a cross in the rocks. You dig there, and you should get to the passageway.
Shit, that's damn complicated.
Of course it is. That's how I designed it. After all, you don't want any old idiot to find the secret passageway to your castle.
True enough. But call me an idiot and explain it to me once more, please.
Maybe in a while. But first we have to discuss something more important. Getting into the castle is the easy part. Don't forget, you have to get out too.
You're right. Horses will be needed. For me and for Capon.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Fortunately, I know how to arrange that. Stop off at the stud farm I told you about, and ask Hashtal for horses.
Are you serious? I'll just introduce myself and he'll give me horses just like that?
Exactly. Please tell Hashtal that Papa is still paying for masses for his dead father, as agreed years ago. And even if he's not too keen, tell him we'll pay him for the horses.
You got it well figured out. Thanks. Don't know how I'd manage without you.
You've done plenty to help, and now it's our turn. Papa said something like that, didn't he? You know, you might not be aware of it, but you saved us from a mountain of trouble. Papa would never admit it, but alone, we wouldn't be able to resist the Mint Master for long. You've earned the right to the gratitude and friendship of our house for all time.
Would you like to come with me? At least I'll be sure to find that place.
Would you seriously want me there? What if something were to go wrong? Wouldn't a girl like me be more of a burden to you?
Well, you wouldn't be a burden to me. Quite the opposite. I've already seen you know how to take care of yourself.
Thank you. But I can't go nevertheless. Papa would jump out of his skin if he even heard of such a thing. That's why I would like to ask you for one favor, but you mustn't breathe a word of it to anyone. Understand?
I'm listening.
I wanted to ask you, since you're going to be at Malashov, if you could bring me something from there.
And what might that be?
A book. It has great value to me, and I was starting to worry it would stay there forever. But if you're going there now...
And what book is this that's so important?
It's hard to explain to someone uninitiated in the mysteries of writing.
What do you mean, uninitiated? I happen to know how to read.
Really? Mea culpa. You are full of surprises. So if you do find the book, you'll be able to read it.
Well, yeah. That's the way it goes with books.
In that case, I'm not going to make it easy for you. If you'd like to know why it's so important to me, You'll have to find it first.
Fear not, my lady. I'll gladly tear the entire fortress apart to find that book for you.
Restraint, valiant knight. I value your determination, but this way would give yourself away immediately, and I'd remain without my book. Find it nice and quietly, then come back.
Your wish is my command.
It shouldn't be hard. The book is bound in scarlet leather and inlaid with gold. You won't find many like such there. And take this, so you don't get lost in the fortress.
Thank you.
It is quite possible you won't get back to Malashov again. So don't forget about me. And Henry, be careful.
By the way, like you were saying about that book,
My favorite book? Pray tell, did you find it?
as I wandered through the fortress, I stumbled upon von Bergov's chambers, and there it lay. Red leather, gold inlay, just as you said.
You really found it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. By the way, did you have any time to leaf through it and see what it's about?
I read a bit of it.
What did you think?
Why don't you tell me what you find so compelling about it? It's your favourite book, right?
Well, let's say that I identify with the author. We share a similar view of the world.
And who is the author? I didn't find a name in the book.
That's on purpose.
You wrote it, didn't you?
Look, you've never thought about writing something.
Me? And what would I write?
How should I know? Poetry, a novel, a treatise, or a whole book?
That's a tempting notion. Who knows? In another life, I might have become a writer.
Wouldn't you want to at least give it a try?
I suppose I'm not quite sure where you're going with this.
There are still a few blank pages left, so we could finish writing it together. You and me. What do you think?
That sounds great.
We'll have plenty of light and privacy in my chambers. Will you escort me?
My pleasure.
How should I start?
You haven't thought of anything yet?
Now, I have many ideas, but we must contribute in equal part.
Both? Well, fine. And what should I do?
Just tell me what you'd like to read about. A tale of a man or a woman? I'll take careful notes of everything.
There are heaps of stories about men, so I propose one about a woman.
All right, a woman then. But I'd need to know more about her.
Such as...
Tell me one trait that is important for you. What would impress you in a girl?
I admire courage in girls. They're weaker than men, and life is rarely easy for them, but they still don't give up.
Do you know one like that? Tell me about her.
How could I not? After all, I'm looking at her.
You think I'm brave? Father says I'm more rash, always acting before thinking.
Well, nobody's perfect. But in my opinion, you're certainly brave.
Enough, you flatterer, or I shall blush. We'd better get to writing. Let's say we write about a woman who is brave and isn't afraid to say what she thinks. Would she do it for herself or for someone else?
For herself. She can afford to be a little selfish for once.
That may be true, But I still think it would sound better if she were also defending the interests of someone else. I'll figure it out somehow. Well, just about finished.
Well, let's have a look.
Not yet. Something's missing.
What?
A picture. I don't trust myself with proper illumination, but I think I can handle a sketch, especially if you'll be my model.
What? And what on earth do I have to do?
Lie on the ground on your stomach and swing your legs, but not much. Like you're lazing around.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad.
Well, now we're done.
Finally. I'm sore all over.
Your suffering is over. Come take a look at what we've done. Your reward. Fear not, the ink is already dried. So what about that story of ours? Tell me your impressions.
That's nice. A bit didactic, but not to the point of boring moral bludgeoning. And that's the way it should be. Sermons for ordinary people work in a similar way. They entertain and encourage, with a few lessons added in between.
You see, when I lead mass one of these days, I'll certainly think of you. And what about the sketch? For such a slapdash job, it's not bad, right?
Oh, it's pretty, really. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
I know I'm no master illuminator, but otherwise, I think we can be quite satisfied. And thank you for the help. I really enjoyed it.
Well, so did I. And for that matter, you're an interesting girl, and I'd like to get to know you a little better.
No beating around the bush. How about that? Please do stop by sometime. I wager it will be enlightening for both of us. Perhaps I can show you my collection of hunting trophies.